So we are here with Debbie Bacigalupi. She is a roving correspondent, expert on all things United Nations, and she is at the COP25 now. I'm packing my bags, getting ready to head over there, and she is with Wolfgang Muller, who's with the European Institute on Energy or on Climate and Energy. Debbie, Wolfgang, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, looking forward to seeing you guys in real life in just a moment here in a couple of days. So, Debbie, let's start with you. Tell us what's going on at the UN COP25. I hear the Democrats flew in today. What's going on?
Actually, they flew in on December 2nd, or prior to that. Nancy Pelosi, Congressman Jared Huffman, Congressman Gravali from Arizona was here on Monday, and they did a press conference where they were stating that Congress is working really hard on getting climate policy and climate regulations and all these other things into the United States. Nancy Pelosi had mentioned that she was at the first Rio Earth Summit, and she is so proud to be here after all these years. Questions were asked about the Green New Deal. They poo-pooed it, but said that, we've been working on this for a long time, and we're going to make sure that it happens. Alex, did ask her about United Nations Agenda 21, and as usual, Nancy Pelosi just would not answer, my question. I said, what's your comment on Agenda 21? She gave me that blank, ugly stare and was out of there. Today is Youth Day, and so there's been a lot of activities about the youth involved with their future, and so it's been an exciting day. You may hear some music. We are with Fossil Fuel, and Fossil Fuel is about ready to give the Fossil Fuel Award of the day. He was at COP24. Oh, and by the way, I saw the Santa Claus guy that we saw last year at COP24. So anyway, I'm sure he'll say hi to you, Alex.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, he was Sustain Claus, right? What a fun thing. Yeah, COP24 was fun last year, too. So, well, thank you for that update, Debbie. And, yeah, we actually ran into Nancy Pelosi at the COP, 18 or 19 back in Denmark. Maybe it was the COP 14 or 15. I don't even remember, but it was in Denmark, in Copenhagen. And she didn't want to answer any questions then, so I'm not surprised she still doesn't want to answer any questions today.
It was her baby. H. Conres 353 was her baby back in 1992. Just go to C-SPAN and you'll see her in her pretty red dress. And she talked about Agenda 21, but today she does not want to talk about it.
That's right. We need a comprehensive plan of action governed by the principles of Agenda 21. Who could forget? Well, thank you, Debbie. And Wolfgang, I know you're following some of the scientific issues that are going on there. They're reporting in the American fake media that the climate science is more settled than ever, and it's only fringe, radical, extremist, kook, lunatics who don't believe the consensus that we're all doomed from man-made global warming. In your understanding, is the science really that settled? What do you think?
I mean, it's of course one of the biggest fake news, even before the invention of fake news. And number one, I mean, hey, if it's settled, it's not science. If there's consensus, there's also science. I mean, and vice versa. And so the interesting thing is, they even make the effort to bring in James Hansen, the famous James Hansen, and who of course thinks the famous climate universe is going down, in a handbasket. And the funny thing is, there was a session we just attended, and you would have loved to ask some questions, but they are so good, and stretching it to the very end, and sorry, now we have to make space for the next press conference. And the funny thing, wherever you go, it's like this constant mantra, the famous dogma, man-made global warming, we have to do, doomsday is coming. And obviously here is not a space to talk about science, but it's a space where they actually, repeat the mantra, just make sure.
Propaganda.
Oh, yes, exactly.
We're calling it by the way, propaganda, we're calling it, Alex, I hope you love this, propaganda.
Oh, that's brilliant. So what are some of the policies that are being discussed now? I know that the man-made global warming hypothesis, now we need to rearrange all civilization. I know Greta Thunberg admitted that it's not just about the environment anymore. What are some of the policies that are being discussed, and what does that mean for humanity if they manage to get this through?
I mean, the striking thing is now that when people actually forget that even the official voice is that this is about redistributing wealth, that it's not about saving the environment, it's about redistributing wealth. This famous term of global justice, climate justice. And what we see here is a wet dream of any socialist bureaucrat you could imagine. And of course, the idea, that only the world government is supposed to solve this catastrophe, of galactic dimension, if you listen to these people here. And what is striking, there is not a tad of dissent or doubt even of this, that the UN is the only savior for this whole thing, and everybody's in tune. And I mean, I just attended the other breakout session, with somebody from WWF, and they were like, okay, we're making so much progress. 5 years ago, we were not even heard so much. Okay, now maybe now you get the impression that WWF and Greenpeace are running the show, and they think, we have to do more of this. I mean, what it means is like it's ever bigger government, and I mean ever rising costs, for the countries who want to follow the Paris Agreement.
And of course, more renewable energy use in the form of wind and solar. And we were just at an event 2 days ago, and with some really great scientists who, like Dr. Will Happer, for example, Tom Harris from Canada. And Tom Harris from Canada had a brilliant presentation on the wind turbines and how many hundreds of thousands of birds and bats are being killed by what he called these egg beaters. So it was just quite awesome, just quite, I don't know, it's like mind-boggling that you have these so-called environmentalists who care about planet Earth and all these species that are supposedly going extinct, and yet they're not paying attention. They're not acknowledging the harm that's done not only to birds and bats, but the people. They want us to go away from meat, and yet they're not acknowledging the the nutritional benefits of meat. 3 ounces of beef, you have to eat 7 chicken breasts or 12 3-ounce cans of tuna in order to get the same zinc, iron, protein, B12, all these other valuable nutrients that your body needs. So we were just in a Greenpeace press conference who's calling for less meat. Look, this is a nudge. Right now it's less meat. Eventually it'll be no meat, because they've admitted already, the United Nations, we need to move to a vegan diet, a plant-based diet. So we raised the question to them that, okay, so what are you going to do with the millions of livestock byproducts? Your cell phone, sheetrock, insulation, tires, all these things, Alex. And I couldn't even understand her answer. There was like no answer, and they divert the question. And so, there's a lot of that goes on here. There's some real tough questions that people like you, me, and a whole bunch of other Americans should be asking right now. And yet there's only a handful of us here to ask those tough questions. And Wolfgang and I have been talking all day. How are we going to change the population, the low population of people like us who really, really want to hear the truth and want to, ask those tough, hard questions that they're just unwilling to ask. And, whoever's listening, I beg you to come with us next year to, Glasgow. Come with us. Let's strategize.
This is actually a very interesting point that Debbie makes, that you sit there and then you listen to the ever rising numbers of tornadoes, hurricanes, whatever. I mean, and just at the event Debbie mentioned, we were 2 days ago, we had Stan, one of the hurricane expert, who lives in Florida.
Florida, your territory, Alex.
I mean, it's really
That's
striking.
right.
He really elaborated, actually, there is no significant change,
in hurricanes.
In hurricanes, neither in the quantity nor in the strength of destruction.
But that's not what you hear here.
But here, it's just like everything is getting worse. It's more water or too little water, too hot or too cold. It's just like, no matter which the weather, it's always man-made global warming or climate change.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like a doomsday cult, huh? As long as you give them all your money and all your freedom, they'll save you from certain disaster, and only the UN can save it. But I mean, if you can't trust the UN, who can you trust, right? So what's next, guys? What are they working on now? What's coming up? And we're down to about 45 seconds here. Any final thoughts on what's going on before I head over there and hang out with you guys and we get back to work?
Well, there's a protest tomorrow that I'm going to try and capture. We'll see. Wolfgang went to a protest of Japan today, and it wasn't that big of a deal. But, the presence of children, as in Katowice last year, is astounding. And so I think, we're just trying to talk to people and just, break the ice or just, I don't know, pierce them a little bit, that they start thinking a little bit more about what they're preaching around here, and we've done that to a few people, but not as much as we should be. So we'll continue to try and capture some unique stories, hopefully United States human interest stories aren't being covered here. And so, yeah, I look forward to you guys being here. It's so much more fun to do these things with more people.
Definitely.
Excellent.
We need more. Definitely. It would help.
We're looking forward to it, too. Well, thank you guys very much for being with us. Thank you for being there in the den. And we will see you guys very soon. Thanks again. And folks out there watching, stay tuned. We will be bringing you a whole lot more on the UN COP25 in the days and in the weeks ahead. So thank you very much.